At some point, you realize you can't see the world the way you used to, and no one tells you what to do with that. You're not where you were, but you're not anywhere stable yet either. The old explanations don't hold. The new ones feel unfinished. You keep reaching for certainty and finding more questions. If that's where you are, nothing is wrong with you. From the outside, life looks mostly the same, but internally, interpretation starts to shift. Conversations feel shorter because people are working from different assumptions. News lands differently. Authority doesn't carry the same automatic weight. You catch yourself thinking, I don't know what to believe about this yet, more often than you ever have. Most people call this confusion. It isn't. It's what happens when perception loosens from inherited certainty. When enough people move through that at the same time, culture changes. Shared reality becomes harder to maintain, not because truth disappears, but because agreement about interpretation weakens. People can watch the same event and walk away with completely different conclusions. That gap is where so much tension is living right now. In the United States, where identity has long been tied to story, who we are, what the country represents, what progress looks like, this shift feels personal. People aren't just questioning events, they're questioning the frameworks that once made events make sense. Some hold tighter, some reject everything. Both are attempts to escape uncertainty. But underneath that, something quieter is happening. More people are beginning to rely on their own discernment. That's slower than belief. It asks you to sit with incomplete information, resist instant conclusions, and tolerate not knowing yet. And that's hard, especially because this isn't happening privately. It's happening in public, all at once. We're watching each other interpret reality in real time. Emotional reactions spread quickly. Extreme examples travel farther than nuance. It can start to feel like something is wrong everywhere, all the time. Part of that is exposure. Part of it is perception reorganizing faster than coherence can form. When there isn't a stable map, the nervous system wants answers that reduce ambiguity. Simple explanations feel like relief. Certainty feels stabilizing. But discernment develops differently. It grows when you allow yourself to observe patterns over time, instead of deciding immediately what everything means. This is the mapless phase. You may notice your thinking becoming more careful. You pause before repeating information. Absolute statements feel heavier. You see how quickly emotion shapes interpretation. None of that looks dramatic from the outside, but it changes your relationship to reality in a very real way. At a societal level, that looks like instability. Consensus weakens before new understanding stabilizes. Institutions feel less trusted before new forms of trust emerge. Conversations fragment before they become more precise. Disorientation does not mean everything is falling apart. Often it means people are learning to see without relying entirely on inherited explanations. That process is uneven. It creates friction. It slows certainty. But it also opens the possibility of a more conscious relationship to truth, one built on observation, patience, and responsibility instead of immediate belief. If this moment feels heavier than a normal news cycle or political shift, it's because the change isn't only external, it's perceptual. The question is no longer just what is being revealed. It's who you become when certainty is no longer immediate. Because this phase is not a mistake, it is the threshold where borrowed understanding ends and lived discernment begins. And once you cross that threshold, you don't go back. Not because the world changed, but because you learned how to see without needing it to be simple.